You are listening to Digging In Podcast, presented by Rooted Wealth Advisors.
Welcome back to another episode of the Digging In Podcast. We have a very special guest, the Director of Marketing, aka our marketing guru here at Rooted Wealth Advisors, Jacqueline Walter. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. It's been a minute since I've done a podcast.
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, man, it's been a very long time. So we needed to get you in here.
Oh, thank you.
We had to.
I'm behind the scenes more often now, which is fine. That's fine.
Well, we're getting the face out there. My goal today in terms of what I want to discuss with you, and I want to learn more about this, is just financial marketing 101. From your perspective, how do people find out about Rooted Wealth Advisors? How do they know Rooted Wealth Advisors? The journey for someone to become a client of Rooted Wealth Advisors, I think, is a lot longer than what people would really think. And there's a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes for us to start to help people. So that's what I want to talk about today. You can answer things however you want to, but maybe in your own words, let's just start from the very beginning of, what goes on behind the scenes from a marketing perspective.
You're right. There's a lot. That's a super loaded question. So marketing at its base, it's all psychology.
Okay.
You're trying to drive a human, whatever your target human may be. You're trying to influence them to take some desired behavior. So for us, it's services. We want them to come in, that we want them to contact us and then to go through our process and hopefully become a client on the end if it's right for them. But in other worlds, it's, you want them to buy the product, you want them to buy the concert ticket, you want them to come to the experience, whatever it is. So it's the psychology of humans, how we think, how you can influence them to drive them to whatever your desired behavior is that you're wanting them to take. So that's the basis. Everything, I know, loaded.
That was a good sum up, though.
It's loaded. Well, thank you. So everything that we're doing is driving to that behavior.
Yeah.
In financial marketing, which is very different. Marketing services is really difficult.
Okay.
Because you're talking about intangible value.
I see.
When you go to the grocery store to buy the gallon of milk, you have an idea of what it costs because it's a product in hand that's consumable. When you're talking about planning, when you're talking about financial peace, when you're talking about your financial future, of course that's tangible because we're talking about dollars.
Yeah.
But you're talking about confidence, you're talking about things that we can't plan for. There's unknown in the future in your life. And so encompassing that and trying to place the value is hard when you're trying to market to people. So my philosophy, whenever you start, people, they want to know what's in it for them.
Yep.
So we're trying to solve a problem for folks. And we are. Anybody can manage your money. You can manage your own money. Is that what's best for you? We think no. But when you really get into it, what's in it for me? Is it having the most money? Is it confidence? Is it the retirement of my dreams? Is it a combination of all of those things put together? And so depending on what we're marketing for, who we're marketing to, we're trying to determine what is the problem that we need to solve.
That was a great way to put it. But I think what I'm gathering is it's not the shiny object, right? If I'm going to buy a car, I get an emotional feeling of oh my gosh, this is the new car smell, the new car look. And you don't really get that when you're talking about retirement. So it's more of, that confidence feeling. It's making the feeling the shiny object. Is that kind of what I'm gathering in a way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's kind of, I come from the world of commercial photography and video.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. And that when you're putting a price on a photography product or just let's say a session,
Yeah.
the end product, of course, you can have prints or pictures in hand, but the actual value of that goes beyond the paper or the digital file.
Okay.
There's this it's the memory. You can take the worst yearbook photo of a kid ever, but they're going to love it because it's their child. And so the value goes far beyond the actual product in hand.
Yeah.
So we do financial planning. We do holistic planning. That's great. People are going to walk away with a plan, a physical plan in hand.
Mm-hmm.
But the value isn't in the paper. The value is in an abundant retirement. The value is in the legacy that they can leave for their kids. So we're marketing that on the front end can be hard to do because what the value is on the back end for folks for their goal retirement or their dream or what they're after in the financial planning can be vastly different.
Wow.
So you have to talk differently depending on who you're marketing to.
Yeah, it depends what your target audience would be there when it comes to marketing. So that's intriguing. So then I see all these social media marketing and this type of marketing, that type of marketing specific to what we do. Like, what are the types of marketing that we focus on at Rooted?
That's hard because the world is ever changing.
Okay.
So in the marketing world, what works today is not going to work tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's hard.
Interesting.
Because think about it. The world is ever changing.
Yeah.
And the things that interest folks and the things that catch their eye, it's ever changing. So we run a lot of marketing funnels. We run a ton of events. I know Sarah's fantastic. We're running client events where we're hoping that they'll come and they'll feel appreciated by us. We can nurture that relationship and they'll bring their friends and their family along. And, hopefully we can help those folks too.
Yeah.
We're doing educational seminars. We do those you're doing one soon, I think. You do lots of them. We do them at restaurants. We do them at community colleges, libraries, where we're trying to foster education for people about financial literacy because people don't think about retirement. We think about our budget and this year, and it's not something that I ever thought about before I entered the industry. And then we're running television. Check your local listings. We're in lots of television markets where we air Rooted in Retirement, again, to help foster financial literacy and to hopefully drive folks to get on your calendar or one of the other guys' calendars for a call to help chat through problems. We run digitally. We podcasting. We're on the podcast. Lots of digital marketing, email marketing. We're on Facebook. We do social media, Instagram. We're on LinkedIn. We do a lot of targeted mailing marketing.
Okay.
And then a lot of marketing is cross-pollination and it's brand awareness and it's community involvement. The best marketing is word of mouth.
Yep.
And
Amen.
You don't pay for it, which is fantastic. It's
From a business perspective.
Free marketing, yes. But think about it. The things that you like or get into were probably most of the time recommended by somebody else.
Yeah.
If you're sitting down with somebody who you trust or you love and you care about, and they're like, man, you got to check this out. The likelihood is you're going to go check it out.
Yep.
Because there's already an inherent trust built in the quality of that product, that person, that thing.
Yep.
And so brand awareness is massive. That spans across all of the marketing funnels. It doesn't matter if we're on TV or on a podcast or if we're standing in front of folks at Roost Chris. What we're saying and what we're emitting and what our brand speaks has to be cohesive.
Wow.
Because it does all cross-pollinate. And when people walk away, what they think and remember about their interaction with Rooted, no matter how that came to be through a digital ad or in person, we want to evoke that emotion. We want to show up differently. We want to live as this residue inside of their brain as a good thing. So even if we're not right for them right now, God forbid a family member passes away and you come into an inheritance, or, hey, guess what? I really decided I want to retire in the next 5 years or whatever it is. They think, hey, wait, what about that guy? Or what about that team? Or what about that thing I saw on television? And so it's about It's way more about just the initial marketing of take the behavior right now. Right. Well, yes, that's important. And that's really easy to track and to drive in the marketing data. Just as important, or almost more importantly, is sticking psychologically into their brain so that they know who we are. And as things change or adjust, or they're sitting at dinner and talking to somebody who's like, man, my advisor really messed up or whatever. They're like, wait a second, I know somebody. And then that just keeps the train rolling.
I laugh a little bit because like every example that you started to give that, I didn't really know how to relate back to maybe a marketing is like actual scenarios, actual things that, clients or people that I sit down with that they've said, right? It's like, hey, well, so-and-so just speaks so highly of you that I want to work with you. Or it's like, I wasn't even thinking about retirement, but then I saw you were doing this workshop and I was like, whoa, I really need to start thinking about retirement. So it's just funny because like genuinely, I didn't even put two and two.
Does that mean we're doing our job correctly? Look at it go. Look at us go.
And I think you're just clearly extremely passionate about what you do. And I think that's clearly translated into the finished product or finished service, however you want to describe it, which I think is pretty cool and pretty interesting. So is there a way, like, can you give us, whether it's from a high level, whatever you want to share, like, is it just like steps that like you take behind the scenes for, maybe it's different marketing? I don't know. Like, is there certain steps that we could share, like what goes on?
I mean, with marketing, we're constantly paying attention to what's happening in the world.
Okay.
You have to be super aware of what other folks are doing, and not just in our industry. It's watching commercials. It's looking at there's media everywhere. There's marketing everywhere you go. Yep. Driving down the road on billboards or on signs, or marketing is everywhere. And so we're constantly consuming that and consuming data as well on where things are trending, where things are moving. Right now, everything is digital. And everything is really pushing into short-term attention spans. We're all scrolling on TikTok. We all want those 10-second videos that have a punch and are entertaining, and then we move along. Yeah. And so as our attention spans go like this as humans, and as we're consuming more and more media as we go, then my job and our team's job is really to figure out how can we have the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time, and what's the best delivery of that for whatever marketing funnel. Yeah. So obviously we're targeting pre-retirees, retirees. Right now we're talking about the end of the baby boomer generation into the beginning of Gen X, which are two very different generations who behave very differently. So thinking of how those folks think and react and the behaviors they take and the way they approach life is very different. And so then determining which marketing funnel is most appropriate to lean into on how to make the most impact with those folks is kind of where it begins. And then once that, it's big, it's a lot. Then once that is running and people are taking action, then they end up on your calendar sitting with you or the guys, Connor out in Denver. And then they get to go through the journey and hopefully work with us in the end. And then it's continuing fostering that relationship. And hopefully they're talking about their friends.
What I'm gathering is there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
Marketing is, we have to think and move into the future while operating in the present.
Okay.
And it's a lot of guessing and going with your gut and creativity and innovation.
Wow. Impressive. I'm glad you're at the helm.
Thank you.
And I love your passion. Even just sitting here chatting through it, it's like, I knew you were passionate, but it just so clearly translates through the way that you present, the information and the content. Anything else that you want to share with regards to just marketing 101?
Marketing, it's difficult. It's fun. You have to be willing to take risks. You have to be creative.
Yep.
You have to be willing to try and fail, fall off the bike and scrape your knee and get on it again and try something different. And I think that's why I like it so much. That's why I love the challenge. I love, it's a puzzle that you have to put together and you have to find the pieces to put together. And that's what's so fun about it. But we have big things coming this year. We have really lofty goals. We're excited to hopefully impact the most people that we've ever been able to impact this year.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really excited about, because I do believe we're making a difference in people's lives. And we hear that feedback, and it's not just lip service that we're telling folks on what we're trying to deliver and the journey we're walking with them. We're doing it.
Right.
And I think that's what's so exciting, because if you're not passionate about it and if you're not actually doing what you say you're going to do, that's bad business.
Yep.
We're never going to get anywhere. But then that's the passion. You're driving, you're helping folks, and you can't fail if you have the integrity and the pure intentions at the base.
Starts there. It's the foundation. I love it. Well, speaking of marketing, we have a book written by our founder called Deep Roots. We're actually offering a free copy of this book if you call in at 866-766-8332. Also, I know I speak for myself. Joe, Connor, Noah would love to chat 5-10 minutes, see if we could be of some help to your situation. But once again, give our office a call, 866-766-8332 for a copy of your free book, Deep Roots. JQ, as I like to call you, thank you so much for being here. And that was awesome. So we'll dig in soon.
This was Digging In Podcast, presented by Rooted Wealth Advisors.
That was great. You were awesome.
I was like,